Hey guys, Level Cap here, and welcome to Devlog number 42 for C-Beams, a spaceship video game that I've been developing for a little over a year now with my buddy Rich and a small dev team. Today, I'm really excited because we've got a bunch of cool new features. We've got a complete weapon overhaul that is nearly done, and it is allowing us to put multiple turrets and railguns and all kinds of cool weapons on ships and switch between them. I've made a ton of progress on our modular space station building, which should result in a lot of station variety and allow us to build them quickly and get them into the environment. John Lagostini has made progress on creating our mineable asteroid materials and even a heating up effect for them so that we can get mining into the game as soon as possible. And we finally implemented some quality of life changes for our sound setup in the game. Let's dive into it. So our new weapon overhaul is one of the biggest projects we've taken on in C-Beams so far. Rich has been laser focused, pun intended, on this system for many weeks now. If you're familiar with this destroyer from past devlogs, you'll notice it has quite a few new turrets on it. On the sides, we have inertial turrets. On the front and back, we have some dual barrel railgun turrets, and we've replaced the Sea-Wiz with laser point defense systems, as we will have multiple types that you can swap out to. This configuration for the destroyer is intentionally diverse to show off weapon group swapping. Here I've targeted a little fighter from far away, and I can fire a volley of my inertial cannons at it. Then I can target his buddy next to him, charge up the railgun turrets, take him out with a blast of railguns. Now, mind you, a lot of these effects are placeholders. Weapon group number 1 is the laser point defense system. We can take out a fighter with that. Now, naturally, this system is still being built, and a lot of the weapon ranges and damage outputs are placeholder, but one of the main purposes of this system is to give players a lot of freedom in how they build out their ship. Do you want a ton of different weapon groups that all specialize in different things? Do you want to lump all of your weapons into one category and just have 1 or 2 weapon groups so you can sort of focus your build on one specific task? Grouping turrets seem to be the obvious solution for that, and on top of that, weapon groups can have all kinds of different parameters. They can be autonomous weapons that will automatically engage incoming missiles, or they can have variations of the two where they'll automatically engage missiles, but then if you target another ship, they'll focus fire that ship, but also break off turrets to engage missiles at the same time. The system got quite complex as Rich got into building it, and it has a lot of rules, but we're designing it to be as robust as possible so it'll carry us all the way through the rest of development and give us a huge amount of depth when it comes to designing new weapons and giving players as much variety as possible. Rich is also using Unreal's gameplay ability system, aka GAS, to make this a fairly robust and easy system to work with. And one of the goals was to be able to make new weapons very quickly and efficiently, where we can mix and match bullet types and turret types and turn features on and off to quickly prototype and add new weapons into the game without requiring a whole new weapon concept. Basically, we're putting in the work now so that we can go fast later. Go slow so that you can go fast is a common phrase I hear in the world of game dev. Let's talk about modular space stations. Last devlog I showed you guys this white box where we were kind of just concepting out the size and the feel for these stations. We did a bunch of concept art, and I've been hard at work along with help from Milkman to get an early prototype of these modular stations ready. The premise for these stations is to be able to build them as a developer very quickly, get them into the game, and have a whole array of these stations that we can propagate at random, custom build for specific missions, something that's easy to use, flexible, and that can give us a lot of visual style as we keep adding on to it. It won't be set in stone. It'll be able to evolve over the course of development. And so here you're getting kind of a first look at what some of these stations could look like in universe. I want to add more modules to these. I want to add more cargo storage. Those fuel pods are still white boxed, but it's getting me excited to expand these and get them into the universe and hooked up to our mission systems. These will be cool destinations for dropping off cargo, for completing missions, for defending, for attacking potentially if it's a hostile station with mounted turrets on it. I have sort of a turret mount in there, but we haven't attached weapons to it yet. So it'll be interesting to test out fighting against space stations as well. This green one's sort of a Borg cube design. I don't know if I like it, but I'm just experimenting. And then over here we've got the blue one that I just built for as an example of how quickly you could make a station. I can do it in 10 minutes or less, put something together. I do want to add more signage and more ways of customizing them further with like branding and logos. So if you're like delivering for a specific company, you might end up at that corporation station and you'll see their branding on it. Now, asset wise, this is kind of a combination of custom built module assets and then bringing in some pre-built stuff that I bought from a space station asset pack. So the ring is actually from a pre-built asset pack, but I had to do a lot of optimization and reworking of the polys to get it game ready. Same with these fuel pods. They're still white box, but those came with an asset pack, and we'll be incorporating a few more of those just because there's a lot of fun details in a station and I don't want to spend 2 months designing all of these in high detail. I'd rather get them into the game quicker. So it's been kind of fun kit bashing together some station components. Now, speaking of repurposing assets, we managed to grab some asteroids from Space Creator Pro, which were extremely high poly. John Lagostini remeshed them, made them low poly, and developed some materials for these to become our mineable asteroids. Mineable asteroids will be much smaller. You'll be able to come up next to them in game, take out your mining laser, and start extracting resources from them. He developed this material here, which is going to be flexible to change to be different types of ores and represent what type of ore is available in that rock. Now, over the course of mining, the asteroids will heat up, so he's made us a heat material that we can scale up in game as the asteroid heats, and then it'll eventually crack and break apart, and he's been working on that fracture mechanic as well, which I'm excited. We've got all the moving parts kind of coming together, and hopefully next devlog we'll have some actual prototype mining gameplay. Now, a few devlogs ago, I showed off this footage here, which shows in little green text every time a sound is spawned in engine. And we found out very quickly that every bullet impact and missile and engine going off created too many sounds in the environment and actually maxed out the audio. Even using Unreal's built-in concurrency tech, there was too many sounds that were getting cut from the gameplay at times where you should have been able to hear them. And since a lot of these sounds are very important to understanding what's happening to your ship and around your ship, I wanted more control over when we cut those sounds from the game rather than just giving generic concurrency settings. So we built this master graph here to route all the sounds that would happen to your ship or on your ship out a singular channel. And Rich has been hooking it up here, and you can see the comparison now. When we start to take CWIS fire, it actually plays all of the impact sounds off of our same sound source. And also when I fire these turrets here, it plays those off of the same sound source. When I switch to the railgun turrets, you'll see it spawns new audios as it hasn't been hooked up to the master graph yet. But basically, I think we've proven the concept. It's not particularly expensive to run it all through a master graph versus spawning tons of other sounds. And now we can fully control how many sounds are being played and how to max them out and how to turn them off when we want to versus using more generalized settings. So as you can see, we continue to be quite busy with C-beams. I allocated 3 to 5 weeks for the full weapon rework. I knew it was going to be deep, and Rich has been working on it hard. We're probably going to end up at the high end of that time estimate, but it's going to be well worth it for getting all of our combat working and more nuanced. I'm really excited to dive into mining. It's more or less been held up by our weapon rework, but hopefully this time for next devlog, we can get some early prototype mining stuff going on. I hope you enjoyed the devlog. Check out our Discord. It's linked in the video description. Wishlist C-beams if you haven't already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.